Hey everyone, back again, another segment of Michigan Conservative Roundtable. And in this one, we're going to talk about something that happened a few weeks back on the 3rd of January of this year, 2020, January 3. The United States, however you want to term it, killed, I'm not comfortable with assassinate, but he was intentionally killed. The Iranian general, I'm going to try and pronounce his name correctly, Qasem Soleimani, I think.
Soleimani, I think.
Soleimani, whatever. Anyways, the United States killed him. An Iranian general traveling in Iraq, and by the way, I heard one person theorize that he flew in on a domestic flight knowing that the United States would not shoot down a domestic flight. So he flew in domestic, and then once he got off the jet, and as they were convoying to wherever they were convoying to, him along with some other major terrorists were taken out. Something I didn't know, and I saw this in a couple separate sources here, but for quite some time, and when I say time, I mean years. For some years, this was a personal target of Mike Pompeo. Did you know that?
I did not.
Yeah. Mike Pompeo had taken a personal interest in this guy going back to when Mike Pompeo, well, he was recently in the House of Representatives, but for some time now, for years, Mike Pompeo has taken a personal interest in this now deceased Iranian general. In any event, he was taken out, he was killed, terminated, however you want to term it. And the left has gone on their rants. They've eulogized the guy, mourned his loss. Their hatred of Trump's blinded them so much to the point, they love this guy, praising him as a man of peace. An actress, and I forget her name, an actress even apologized for his murder. And, and a thought crossed my mind. And I had read somewhere a political scientist by the name of Leonard A. Cole in his writings, one of his lines, his quotes was, "Tell me with whom you associate, and I will tell you who you are," which is really another way of what we would say on any day in our life. You're known by the company you keep.
That should concern me, I think.
Yeah. The leftists, the Democrats, however you want to define them, they would sooner associate with the likes of this Iranian general than they would President Trump. That's how much they hate Trump. That's how much they hate those of us who support Trump.
In this country, too, as well. They'd side with the devil, and many would say they have, over Donald Trump.
As if you've seen some of my TJ talks in the past, I've talked about in individual segments. I've talked about certain military heroes of mine, and I believe I have found another military hero. His name is Brian Mast. He is representative out of Florida 18th District, House of Representatives. Ex-Army dude. Go Army. In May of 2000, he enlisted in the Army Reserves. In 2006, he switched over and went full-time active duty with the Army. He became an explosive ordnance disposal technician. And I doubt this will shock you, but he lost both his legs from an IED. His awards include a Bronze Star and a Purple Heart. Now, aside from his military experience, what did he do which got my attention that I wanted to share with everyone? He got pretty fed up with the left and the way they were mourning the loss of the Iranian general. He got so disgusted with it, in fact, that at a committee hearing, House Foreign Affairs Committee, in one of this committee's hearings, he went on a rant. Well, you know what? He didn't even really rant, but he started off, and he said, if you walk out of this room, make a right, make another right, make another right, you're going to see a wall with names of foreign service members. And then he said to the Democrats present and anyone else, and he opened it to anyone really, he goes, I will sit here for the remainder of my time in silence and wait for any of you to mention a name that was not worth the killing of Soleimani. Then he sat there in silence. The committee chair, Elliot Engel, after about 15 seconds says, okay, you've made your point. He goes, no, we're going to sit here. I want someone to give me a name. And so they sat. And then a few more seconds, I think Elliot Engel tries again. And he goes, this is my time, not your time and not anyone else's time. This is my time, and I'm going to spend my time sitting here in silence. I want to hear a name. Someone out there give me a name. And I think, and I'm not 100% certain of this, but I think another Republican on the committee says, hey, I'll give you a minute of my time. So I think he got an extra minute from a fellow Republican out of this. And they sat there in silence. I read this on the Right Scoop website, and the Right Scoop, the website there, has a link to the C-SPAN video of this event. I looked for it on YouTube. Maybe I didn't Google it right or something, but I couldn't find it on YouTube. So if you went to the Right Scoop website, found the story, and the story is titled Representative Brian Mast forces Democrats to sit in silence until they name a dead service member who didn't justify killing Soleimani. They give a link, and you click on the link, and you can watch the entire video of Brian Mast making everyone sit there in silence, daring them to name someone who didn't justify the termination of the Iranian general. Any thoughts of yours?
Well, it brings to mind, it doesn't have to be a service person. It could have been any of the people on 9/11.
Exactly.
It could be you or I. They don't give a damn. They want the power so bad that it doesn't matter who gets killed, your kids. The beautiful young lady in San Francisco was killed by the illegal immigrant, Kate Steinle. It doesn't matter who it is. They want that power so bad. If people got to get killed, so be it.
And something I forgot to mention earlier, the Iranian general here, he was commander of what's referred to or known as QUDS, Quds, and I looked them up, and basically it sounds like they're the equivalent of our CIA, Special Forces, troops we might use covertly. And also, he was very instrumental in commanding people who would use IEDs. I can't sit here and tell you the IED that took out Brian Mast's legs were part of the efforts of Soleimani. But I think that was part of the reason. I got to wonder if that wasn't why Brian Mast was digging in so much. Brian Mast himself has lost his legs to similar type efforts that this Iranian general was instrumental in commanding. And
well, how this whole thing kicked off was the fact that it was a response to the killing of an American contractor, which is a regular person like you and I, not even a military person.
As pro-Iranian forces in Iraq,
Yeah.
I mean, we got to keep saying that. We're talking about an Iranian general in Iraq commanding pro-Iranian forces that about overran our embassy in Iraq. it's like almost like the insanity doesn't even stop.
Right. Unlike in the Obama administration, there was a response from the Trump administration, and all these thug, gangster, Islamic types. Well, they decided after the Marine Corps showed up that maybe this wasn't a good idea and to get the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah. Okay, so that's it up on.
Maybe Ambassador Stevens might be alive today if the president weren't too busy sleeping and the Secretary of State wasn't talking to her daughter in the middle of the night about how terrorists have taken over our embassy and actually done something about it.
Yeah, big time. Okay, so those are our thoughts. So while the left chooses to associate with known terrorists, I have no problems associating myself with my new hero, Brian Mast. I'm sure Mac feels the same.
Absolutely.
And with that, we'll sign off with be safe, watch your six, and don't tread on me.